Let's take a look at this move here. Bitcoin bounced off the $53,500 price level, and it has now gone up to $57,800, which is a really nice bounce. I mean, from where we've come from up to now, it has been a day and a half, which is not great. That's very slow, but it is up by 8.2%. Now, the reason I said it's not great is because on the way down, we did this in 7 hours, less than that even. On the way up, it's taken us a day and a half, right? So clearly disproportionate. We're moving up a lot more slower than we were moving down. And, you know, when you actually kind of form recoveries, oftentimes they're going to look a little bit more like this, right? Like you're going to move down, but you're going to move up just as quickly as you came down. That's actually very typical, you know, when you do start to see recoveries taking place in the market. So here's, you know, something somewhat similar. You know, we moved down at a certain speed and we did recover a lot of that move. Roughly similar. The recovery was a little bit slower, but again, in all other situations, you know, you can see this super clearly. You know, and we're not doing anything crazy. We're just kind of looking at the way we drop down and then the way that we come back up, and we're trying to see, is the market recovering just as quickly as it's falling down, right? And as long as the answer to that is yes, as long as the market is recovering quickly, you know that you might be in play. However, if the market is recovering like this, it does start to get a little bit concerning, and it's for reasons that we've already discussed on this YouTube channel, right? Shout out to those of you that are subscribed, smashing up those likes, tuning into these live streams, watching this very time-sensitive content with the notifications switched on for this channel. You're going to know this very, very well up to this point, that, you know, the kind of slower you kind of trend up, the more you're going to start to encounter resistance as you move higher. And that's always going to be something that, you know, you've really got to be careful of, right? Like when you first kind of pull these dumps off, if you recover them quickly, you have a lot more headroom until you start meeting resistance. But if you really kind of take your sweet time with it, that resistance is going to get a lot lower. And it's the same thing that we've got now. Like if we pull off this recovery right now, we're good. And we don't have any resistance according to this particular indicator, the 𝐁𝐥𝐸𝐽 cloud, until 61.7. But if we take, you know, just a few more days, you know, then we're going to be having resistance an entire like $3,000 lower than that. So, you know, it really makes a big difference, the speed that you attack these recoveries with. And if you're not doing it at speed, then you might have a problem. I think that, you know, that plus some other factors, which we'll continue to go over in this live stream, you know, definitely tell me that there is some real scope for a rejection as we get a little bit higher up. I know that a lot of people were interested in playing this particular level for a short. I personally did not take it. It's not the kind of trade that suited my risk appetite. I definitely considered it, but, you know, I need to see more than that. I don't think that that's the kind of perfect trade that I would typically be going for. So, you know, that's kind of not for me. Thank you for all your lives from JP Kovac. You're very, very welcome. Yeah, got a couple of comments here. I'll be going through your comments very shortly in this stream. As you do get more questions, drop them in the live chat below that like button. Let's smash those likes at least to above 100 likes in the first few minutes of this live stream while we continue to kick things off over here. The key level that I see Bitcoin kind of getting up to now is definitely going to be that kind of 60K range, right? There are a couple of resistance levels that come before it, and I actually want to show that to you on this chart right here. You know, I've actually got a really nice kind of box drawn out for you guys on this chart, and I actually want to see if any of you guys can kind of guess what this box represents. Let me know in the live chat. Any very observant viewers, I'd be curious to know. This is a very precisely drawn box, and it's something that you could probably guess. It's not easy, but you could guess what it is. I'm curious to know if anyone can guess. But you know, what we have is, you know, a kind of you know, a little bit of resistance that we found over here on the way down, a little bit of support when we initially kind of moved down. So this is definitely going to be an interesting area to see how Bitcoin responds. It's going to be like the kind of high 58s. And yeah, wow, we already got one person that got it. That was pretty quick. Shout out to Lem. Yes, your answer is correct. I won't reveal what it is just yet, but good guess, first try as well. Makes me very, very proud. Yeah, so you know, we do have some levels that could potentially be interesting on this chart, but I think the real levels that get interesting are going to be around where this box is. If I kind of draw it out, we can kind of get a sense for what this box represents in terms of some of these kind of bounce zones that we've actually had on this chart already. You know, and I think that's where this market might be going, right? Like, I don't know, but what I do, you know, what I can say with a good level of certainty is that we don't really have resistance until we get up into this box. So, you know, with what this chart is telling me, you know, we kind of have to get there. Lem is saying that is actually his main strategy, so he did correctly predict what this box is, you know, and what it is very, very simply a super, super clean Fibonacci level. Let me draw this the other way around, actually. Lem is saying that this is actually his key strategy, and that is amazing because it is a very, very good strategy. This box that I drew, it's not super precise, my bad. It's slightly bigger than it should be. But this box, lining up really, really nicely with this Fibonacci level here, this 618 golden pocket. This is a, kind of ideal place to see the market kind of recover before potentially capturing a bit more resistance and then trending down, right? That would be super typical for the market. And it would also be a nice kind of sizable recovery before you move down, because I think, especially bears right now are going to want to see the price come down to at least tag this box right here. This is another one of my fancy boxes, but you can guess what this represents already. We have yet another beautiful 618 Fibonacci box right here, which is why I drew it, with a bit more opacity, because I really think it's an important level, and I think that this is where the bears are going to want to go to, but it makes sense that we tag this 618 and then come down to the much bigger 618 over here. And who knows, maybe that's the end of the correction. Maybe we go lower. There are a lot of people saying a lot of different numbers, not even that many different numbers. Really, everyone's talking about, 52, 51, 48, 47, basically the same two price levels. A few people are talking about 45, 44. I personally am happy to see all of them. The more of them we see, the better. This bull market is going to last longer. The explosion upwards is going to be bigger. There's going to be opportunities to make money while the market is trending down. I mean, there's an unlimited number of good things that end up happening if that does actually happen in this market. And volatility is what we want at the end of the day. I mean, you guys have been hearing me talk about Blowfin a little bit. They've got a huge competition running right now. There's always something going on. This is definitely one of the best exchanges on the block right now. They do not white label their technology, which 99% of exchanges, probably the one that you use, does as well, unless you're trading on something else elite like Bybit. Most of these exchanges do actually white label their technology, but Blowfin doesn't even require KYC, and they've built their shit themselves. So that's really, really impressive. They're well worth checking out, and a lot of you guys have actually been benefiting from their rewards lately, which is absolutely sick. So definitely check that out if you are interested. It's always linked at the top in the description over here, or Bybit linked slightly lower. It is actually the best exchange in the game. I mean, my opinion's been pretty firm on this for a few years. It's still the best, and those of you in Europe can actually get a Bybit debit card, which means you can spend your crypto in the real world. Super, super cool indeed. But let's bring it back to the video here. I think that this is kind of what the bears are going to be looking for. Is it possible that we kind of penetrate this level a little bit more? Absolutely. I think one of the best things that this market could actually do is, if we switch this over to the weekly, is if this market kind of recovers this drop that we've seen right here. If it's going to close a lot higher, like kind of in the 60K range or above, basically like anywhere here or higher, it would be absolutely huge. It would represent that we've tested the downside massively, but we couldn't kind of stay there. So, you would expect a nice kind of continuation up if that were to happen. Is it possible? I mean, yeah, absolutely, right? Anything is possible in this market. And if you just take a look at, these last two daily candles today and yesterday alone, from low to high, the market has already moved up by $4,700. We only need to move up by another 2.5 to get up to 60. So is it possible that that happens in the last 7 hours today and the, next 24 hours for Sunday? Absolutely. That's totally possible for this market to be pulling off right now, in terms of a recovery. Ladies and gents, I see we got about 300 viewers in the live chat. Let's smash those likes up as you are coming in. I am right here with you guys during this volatility, and super happy to come back later on as well. So double check that you are all subscribed as well, so you don't miss out on the super time sensitive content. But let's continue to push through here, because if we do end up kind of getting that closed, then I think that's going to be a huge sign that the market is actually looking pretty bullish. And it's going to be actually very similar to this candle right here, right? Like this candle that we had yesterday is like almost a bullish hammer, where basically what it means is that we've tested the downside, but the market wasn't happy with that and it had to close higher, right? Like just like here, we tested the downside massively, but the market wasn't satisfied with that. It had to close a little bit higher, and that actually gave us a hint about what was to come next, because the market did end up correcting all the way back up to 64 before continuing this downtrend, right? So that's kind of what we're doing right now, and I'm basically saying that the same thing might happen, right? Previously, I was pointing at 64K as resistance, saying that this is where you would expect resistance. Now I think that the resistance level's at 60, but again, if we can kind of close that weekly candle up here, that's going to be really, really strong for this kind of longer term trend here. Let's take a look at the monthly. And yeah, unfortunately, the monthly candle closed in a pretty good place. So, we have a lot of time to do damage control here for the month of July and actually close higher than 60K. Still completely on the cards, I think. And I think it's going to depend on a lot of different variables, which we'll kind of continue to dive into throughout this live stream. But I do think that that's going to be an important thing that could end up happening in the market. Now, let's take a quick look at some of our key indicators. And because we have spent a little bit of time trending up and because we've now moved up high enough, we do have this big 4-hour big 4-hour EMA resistance. This has been very dangerous for Bitcoin throughout this downtrend, and we are battling a much bigger ribbon right now. So there is resistance all the way from now up until we reach resistance, and then after resistance over here, there's more resistance up ahead. So resistance is the kind of name of the game right now. Take a shot every time I say the word resistance in this live stream. You will be off your face by the end. This is definitely quite a kind of turbulent period for the market, I would say. However, if we are able to flip above 60, then everything is back to being bullish and we're shitting on gold again, and we are having a good time. I think that this would be the most bullish thing that ever happened to Bitcoin, or one of for sure. If we are able to kind of flip this level and then continue to trend higher there. So very much all-time highs on the cards after that. If the market does end up continuing to slide down, then yeah, that next level at kind of 51, 52, stretching in this case all the way down to about 50,000 is going to be very, very important. This is going to be something that I'm going to be keeping an eye out for, and I would love to take some positions down here if the market gives them to me. I'm not going to force it. I'm definitely not desperate for that kind of thing. But if it comes, I am very, very happy to take it. So far, another kind of big update I want to give you guys on this kind of parallel channel thing I've been showing you guys is that we're actually fulfilling this pretty damn well. I mean, take a look at this chart right here on the logarithmic scale, which, a lot of actually, pro traders would actually consider this logarithmic scale to be the most important in the market. We have got a really nice bounce coming off this parallel channel. I mean, 2 points allow you to draw the line, but 3 points will really validate it. And what a phenomenal validation we've seen so far. I mean, the reason I keep on pointing this out to you guys, I don't even like these patterns that much, but the reason I point this out to you guys so often on this channel lately is because no one's talking about it, and we were talking about it before the price even came back down here, and rightfully so. It seems to be like the only thing that you can point to for why Bitcoin has bounced up from here. And it also indicates a bit of resistance, again, at the exact same price level that I'm looking at, right? Because the midpoint of these levels are typically actually very important. Take a look at this kind of dotted line in the middle. Let me make this a little bit easier for you to see. If I really make this line quite thick, you can see that dotted line is actually pretty important for the market here. We're getting some really nice kind of bounces off this particular price level. We're getting some really nice rejections. Even very recently when we were bouncing, it was coming off this particular price level here. And that box that I described to you guys earlier, I mean, I can just draw it in the exact same place now, and it's the same damn support level, right? So we're actually building a lot of confluence up there, and that's why I really like this particular price range, right? Like, to see that this parallel channel has been validated so phenomenally well, really makes me have a bit of faith in it. And to see that the market's really just kind of trending back up to that 60K level with that, to me, that really says a lot. To me, that's actually very powerful. It's very, very important, and something that I'm going to keep on paying attention to on this YouTube channel. You guys will keep getting updates from me on how I feel about it right here on this YouTube channel as well, of course. Now, again, moving back to the downside, I think bears are going to be looking for that kind of 52K zone. If it fails, we've still got the same zones in play. Nothing has changed. We got 48K below that and 44 below that. Still, 44 is the kind of last frontier for support that I see until we fall down to 30K. I still want to see 30K. I don't know if I will. And to be honest, I don't even know if the market can handle it. But I do want to point out to you that, in the last bull market that we had, Bitcoin did suffer a larger than 50% correction, and then it still recovered to set a new all-time high. Now, granted, it wasn't a super impressive all-time high, but it was an all-time high nonetheless. And if Bitcoin were to do the same thing right now, the numbers are kind of in line. I mean, be it 58% here or 55% back then. Very, very similar numbers, and so the market can handle it. It's just that it would be very uncomfortable, but I think it's totally fine. I think it'd actually be a good thing if the market did end up going down that low, because you're just back testing a really important level. We got a breakout. You want to see that back test. And one of the things that I've been telling you guys about on this YouTube channel is that you really need to visualize this market in terms of levels, not in terms of kind of price drops, right? Like a lot of people are going to get scared. They're going to get spooked out when they kind of see like, Bitcoin was at 74. Now it's down at kind of 55 or whatever. That's a $20,000 drop. Everyone's going to get scared about that. But, the reality of the market is that, from $74,000 at this all-time high, we had really only one good support level at 67 and another good support level at 60, and that was it, right? So it's not that the market dropped by $20,000 down to this low over here. It's that the market lost support level 1 and support level 2, and we had to come down and capture support level 3, which of course I was just pointing out only was spoken about on this YouTube channel. Other people have not been looking at this particular parallel channel with such a beautiful zone of support that we were expecting before the drop even happened. Nobody else was talking about it. Smash up the likes for that, you absolute legends. That's what we're all about, making sure that we've got that real alpha in this market so we can kind of stay ahead of the game, and that's how the market behaves. The market loses a key level of support, it just falls down to the next one. It's nothing emotional, it's nothing scary, it's nothing that has to be anything polarizing in any particular direction. It's just how the markets work. And when you can see it that way, actually the number one thing you're going to hope for is that the gaps are as big as possible, because the bigger the gap, the more opportunity you have to make money. And that is actually, I think, where the real juice is. That's where the real fun is to be had in these markets. What we had over here was a phenomenal kind of 10% drop here, which again, just talking about, low amounts of leverage. Even just like, I could comfortably use even 5x leverage on this kind of trade. That's a 50% profit just like that. Now Bitcoin is kind of coming back up to this price level. So like I said, a lot of bears are going to be interested in going short up here. And that makes for, some potential discussions of positions to start getting very, very interesting. Again, same kind of stop loss about 4-5% above. I stand to make $3.7 for every dollar that I risk if I aim for that kind of $48,000 price level, or if I aim for the kind of 51, 52, I'm still making about $3 for every dollar that I risk, which is absolutely great. Still, 5x leverage I've made. Oh, I'm bad at math. What is this? I think it's like I'm very bad at math. 120% profit, something like that. I would more than double my money, right? What am I talking about? No, this is completely wrong. 65% profit. Yeah, sorry. It's a 65% profit, which is still absolutely great. You put 10K in over here, you walk out with 65. I'm sorry, you walk out with, wow. You walk out with 16.5. I need to eat. I'm hungry. You walk out with $16,500 down here. And you're kind of flying, right? Like you're in a really, really good position. And the thing is like I said, when you kind of see the market as losing key support levels or losing key resistance levels, instead of, oh my God, we're dropping by 20%, or oh my God, the market's crashing by $30,000 or whatever the case may be, when you start visualizing the market the way I was just describing or struggling to describe, what you're going to start seeing is that you really want the bigger price moves to happen, right? Like you want to get paid, you want to be able to trade these kind of opportunities. And if all of those things are true, they might not be true for you. This might not be for you, and then you wouldn't even be on this YouTube channel. But if those things are true for you, then actually you're going to be very keen on trading these things, and you're going to be hoping that those ranges are bigger. Like you're really going to be completely unemotional about, whether it's a $20,000 drop or a $50,000 drop. It's not going to matter to you. The more the better, because you just get bigger ranges to trade. And I think that's what's so important in this market. And like I said, ladies and gents, Blowfin being the best place to trade with no KYC requirements, no picture of yourself or your ID, which is absolutely fantastic. And Bybit still being the best in the game, full stop. So check them both out if you are interested, and always be mindful of your country's local regulations, because you might not be allowed to trade these things based on where you are with your laws. But super, super cool stuff there. I've actually got the Blowfin terminal open right here. I was going to record some content for you guys on this, so that's super, super cool. We'll come back to all that in just a little bit, but nice kind of potential position there. Definitely something that I'm going to be considering, and who knows, maybe I'll let you guys know if I'm actually going to trade that as well. I will obviously be back with you all very, very soon. Now let's continue on with this live stream. I want to take a look at some other kind of key markets here. The S&P 500, I think, is critical right now. It is still closed. It's been a long holiday period because of the 4th of July. Thank you all for smashing those likes up to 100, by the way. Continue to push them up. If you are enjoying the stream, I do appreciate all the love. The S&P 500 has actually moved up quite a bit to brand new all-time highs just before the national holiday, and I think that now we are going to be seeing it kind of reopen. I'm sorry, this was right after the national holiday as well, wasn't it? And I think that we are going to be seeing it kind of potentially continue to move up afterwards. I really don't know. It's actually hard to say, but the bottom line is that Bitcoin is not doing anything with this strength, which I think is definitely concerning. And I think that is actually something which, is something that I'm going to keep on making you guys aware of. I mean, it is a major risk factor. It has been a major risk factor, and that is actually something which is worth keeping in mind. There's actually another interesting bit of analysis I want to give you guys about the kind of weekends that we've been seeing, where typically we've been moving up on weekends and down on weekdays. I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that in an upcoming video. I've actually got an upcoming video where I'm going to be telling you guys about some really interesting strategies to be making money while the market is trending down. It's something I've told you guys about before that you've loved. It's something that I've done before with amazing results, and I will tell you guys about that in an upcoming video. So definitely make sure that you are staying subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on the super time sensitive content. But yeah, I think S&P 500 continuing to show strength. Bitcoin is dying. If it starts to turn around, if the S&P 500 starts to get a little bit weak, I don't know what the hell is going to happen to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's in a really bad place because of that right now. But actually, while we speak, just on the very, very short-term chart, we are moving up. So that's definitely pretty cool. Now, the dollar is another thing that's got me concerned about Bitcoin, because the dollar has been moving down by quite a bit. And again, the only thing we're seeing for Bitcoin is weakness, right? So, we're really not out of the woods by any means. Things are still pretty bad, in my opinion. The dollar's down at a support level now. Support is where you tend to get bounces. And I mean, if the dollar does end up kind of bouncing here, then it's just going to be another thing kind of working against Bitcoin. So you really don't like to see that, like, you've got something that's got kind of every reason to be bullish right now. It's got, a lot of things running in its favor from these more kind of traditional finance, macro analysis types of perspectives, but the market's not doing anything with it. That actually tells you that there's a lot of kind of underlying weakness here, which I think should be concerning for investors and traders right now. I mean, well, realistically, should it be concerning? To me, absolutely not. There's nothing that will concern me about Bitcoin. I think it's the best asset in the world, and I love it. But, I think that a lot of other people will not think that way, and those are the kind of people that you and I want to understand. We don't want to think like them because they're losers, but we want to understand them so that we can make money off them, right? So that's my take over there. We've seen, the altcoin market continue to slide against Bitcoin here. I mean, Ethereum's lost a little bit more ground. It's still at support. So, if you're an Ethereum bull, then, there's all the reasons you would want to still expect it to move up from this very short-term perspective. Overall, I think this chart is still absolutely disgusting, and I think it's still poised to move down. But we're at support, right? So I'm not going to fade that too much right now. However, the picture is a little bit clearer just looking at Bitcoin's dominance itself. It has moved down just a little bit recently, but, we are very clearly picking up a little bit more ground and just kind of doing the same thing that we've done constantly, where, we just kind of trade in a box and then break out, and then trade in another box and then potentially break out, and trade in another box over here and break out. But the end result is that we're kind of moving higher and higher every time we do. And that, we can zoom out and this gets a little bit silly. I mean, that's been going on since the market actually bottomed out here. So I think that there's kind of still a lot of evidence to suggest that, this market, this Bitcoin dominance may continue to gain some ground. We have seen some recoveries, like I said, because of the crash easing off a little bit, but it's just kind of manifesting in terms of just resistance hits right now, which I think should be quite concerning for a lot of altcoin holders. We've seen another test beautifully of this $120 level for Solana, which is absolutely great. Another kind of quick bounce off this price level as well, so that's definitely interesting. If Solana does end up kind of falling back down, then we can kind of reliably expect support down here. I'm still actually looking for slightly lower Cardano support down. I know I'm moving the chart a lot right now. This might be hard to keep up with, but bear with me, I'm nearly done. We are still seeing some kind of support down here at like 117, 118, stuff like that, 119. These kind of areas I think are still actually quite important for Solana in terms of macro support, so that's going to be something I'll continue to keep an eye out for. We still haven't fallen down there. Is it possible that we kind of sweep these lows and then kind of really set a low and move up? Absolutely, yes, super possible. It's not something I would want to rule out. So that's something that I'll continue to keep an eye out for as well. I want to go through a couple of your questions, and then I'm going to have to wrap this one up relatively soon. Like I said, a very quick one, unfortunately, today, but an important one nonetheless. Let's see what we've got in the live chat. Sean is asking someone to DoorDash me a Sonic cheeseburger. That would be great. I'd love that. Bitcoin now leading the stock market, not moving together anymore. Bad sign for future of everything, has diverged. That is a very, very premature conclusion on your part there. I don't agree with you. I think that this is just a bit of volatility. I don't want to chalk it up to anything more than that. I think that Bitcoin leading the stock market, or divergences or whatever, these are things that you have to evaluate on much larger time frames than a few days or even a week or two. It's got to be a lot bigger than that, in my opinion. Bulls deep on the capitulation July 4th. Alts are about to blow up, and Solana has been beating Bitcoin for pounds in the pocket for a while. It has been doing very, very well indeed. Yeah. It actually looks like Solana is the one leading Bitcoin, if anything, which is definitely interesting. What is the highest leverage that I like to use when I'm holding a long-term position? Well, I'm still in my Bitcoin long. I don't know if I can show that to you guys right now on stream. I'm still in my Bitcoin long that I opened on Bybit, and that was a 10x leverage position. I have another position that I still got open on Bybit, and that was also a 10x leverage position. So I'm actually quite happy using numbers like that. I've been using numbers like that for quite some time. It's worked very well for me. And it's not too high. I mean, I can comfortably even go a little bit higher. Here, take a look at this. I've actually got it pulled up right now. That is my Bybit long position on Bitcoin. And you can see up top over there, it does say isolated 10x. And right there, by the way, to scroll, just to show you that this is not a screenshot. There is still that TRX position, also opened with 10x leverage. So again, those two positions were traded right here on Bybit, with the link in the description below, where European viewers can actually get a Bybit card, which is super, super cool. Again, just huge bonuses, 0% spot trading. And again, to answer your question, I can comfortably use 10x, even 15. I mean, it really depends on where my stop loss is, right? I mean, the tighter my stop loss, the higher my leverage. That's actually how I determine my leverage. I'm just kind of, I'm going to maximize whatever leverage I can within the loss that I'm willing to accept. So the first thing I do is which makes sense, right? I think a lot of people don't consider the market this way for whatever reason. They probably literally just don't think about it, but yeah, that's fine. I was there too. But I think this is quite obvious. Like, the first thing that I want to consider with any trade is, number one, how much will I make? And number two, how much will I lose? And I'm much more interested in how much will I lose, because as soon as I've covered my risk, right? Like, put it this way, let's say I was talking about a potential Bitcoin short I might take. Let's say that I actually take this Bitcoin short up here, and then the market kind of moves down here. Like, over here, I'm already, like, my stop loss is originally up here. I'm already going to move my stop loss right back down to break even when the price is just, a very, very few percentage points away. What is this, like 2.5% away? I'm still, my stop loss is originally up here. I'm already moving it back down to break even, right? Because as long as I've controlled my risk, now the market can, go here, down, circles. I don't care what the hell the market does. I have no risk on my position anymore. I cannot lose money on this position anymore because my stop loss is at break even. So to me, that's actually a really important trading principle. It's kept me super safe. It's made me a lot of money. And it also means that, leverage or any of these other things really don't matter. The only thing that matters is how many dollars am I going to lose? Am I okay with that? And let me bring that down to $0 lost as quickly as I can. And then this position is just making me free money. I'm just getting paid for doing nothing. So are you when you check out the links in the description below. But I can't milk shit like that. So I got to trade like a normal person, unfortunately. But you guys don't. You guys have got huge opportunities where you can also just make free money. But for me, I got to earn it a little bit more. And that's why I'm doing it like this. Let's see what else we got here in the live chat. S&P 500 all-time highs. Bitcoin going down. Not a good sign. I completely agree with you, dude. Man, your hair is going mental these days. I know, right? I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, God damn it, this is not good. But what do? I either wear a hat or because I'm growing it out right now. We're going for that surfer vibe or something. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But all my trades have been stonks for the last couple of months. Yeah, fair enough. I can understand that. Stocks have definitely been fun. Doesn't this upward price action create a CME gap? Oh, interesting. Yeah, it will do. It certainly will do. There was definitely a narrative that Bitcoin fills a CME gap, I don't know, down here or something like that. And Bitcoin did end up doing that. So now, yes, if we do end up kind of moving here over the weekend and then kind of moving back down by Monday, there would be a big CME gap looking something a little bit like this. So, does that mean Bitcoin can revisit these levels potentially? Obviously, CME gaps are just self-fulfilling prophecies, and there are still CME gaps down at like $9,000 and stuff. So I really don't care about these CME gaps, but I think a lot of other people do. So yeah, it is kind of worth paying attention to. And with that, ladies and gents, I am actually going to be having to head off on this stream. I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to pretty quickly in this stream. If you have enjoyed it, do me a favor and smash those likes up one more time if you haven't done so already. Double check, of course, that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. And by the way, I've been talking about this a little bit. We've had a lot of success with this. You are going to find a link to the 4Flies exclusive offer right here in the description, where you can actually contact me directly if you want to gain access to my one-to-one program. It is a 12-week program, super intense. It is not cheap. However, we have had phenomenal results. And if you want to get inside, then you can reach out using that link in the description below. Just thought I'd put that out there. Thank you very much, Alex. Saying thanks, Sammy. Much appreciated. As always, you're very, very welcome, sir. It's always a pleasure to get back on here. Like I said, some interesting kind of uploads coming out soon. Those of you that are more advanced viewers, you're probably not going to want to watch those videos, so you can skip them. You're going to know what they are when you see them. However, for those of you that are a little bit kind of earlier on in your crypto trading journey, you might actually appreciate some of these next videos coming out. So definitely look out for those if that sounds like you. And as usual, nothing's changing. You're still going to get the same content that you're used to and that you love on this channel. I'm just going to be doing a little bit more. All right, guys, thank you all very much, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.